Welcome back to the Glacier Guys. I'm here with my co-host,
Joey Fernandez.
and welcome back to the show. This week, we will touch on some marine sports right away. Men's tennis just finished their season. They took 6th out of 10 at the NJCAA Region 4 tournament, so congrats to them. Jacob Zolnik and Lucas Skowira took 3rd at number 3 doubles, and Edwin Hernandez took 3rd at number 6 singles. Great job by first-year Moraine head coach Mike Maratia. He's been coaching for a while, but this was his first year at Moraine as the head coach. So congrats to them.
I gotta say, you really executed those pronunciations pretty good.
Thank you. Yeah, I was a little nervous, but I kind of just rolled with it.
Yeah, I definitely would have botched those pretty well. So good thing you read that one and I didn't.
Yeah, I got you, Joe, for sure. But congrats to them. They had a really good season after last year got canceled for them. So
yeah, I think it's a decent bounce back. They can definitely build off that.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And then also, Moraine still has some other sports going on with baseball, softball, men's and women's soccer. So, all the playoffs are going to be coming up. We'll probably be touching on those a little bit also as all the seedings and stuff get figured out for the tournaments.
I know baseball only has a few games left. Soccer, they still have more than a few, and then softball, I think they all have around like 6 games left before playoffs. So we wish them luck moving
down
forward.
To crunch time.
Oh yeah, so we'll be covering that in the upcoming weeks.
Definitely. Now on to some more broad topics. The NFL draft is coming up on Thursday.
It's tomorrow.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. It kind of snuck up on us. We've been waiting for the past couple weeks, I'd say, but it's basically here.
Yeah, I've been anticipating this since like January when the Bears got smoked by the Saints. So,
yeah.
There's a lot to talk about here. There's a lot to unpack. Let's see. There's the Bears, obviously, picking at 20, and it's a tough prediction to make right now.
It is, because there's I'd say the first couple picks are kind of locked in. Just the first two only.
Yeah,
but
1 and 2 are for sure.
Outside of that, I'd still say there's a decent amount of uncertainty left.
Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy draft. I mean, this is the deepest quarterback class I've seen in a while with 5 quarterbacks. Potential top 10 picks.
I was just talking to my dad about this. I'm like, this is probably one of the better quarterback classes I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, 2018 had 5, but there was a lot of guys that were a lot like pretty iffy. Like Lamar was like potentially not a first round pick at the time.
And was he the last pick of the first round?
Yeah, 32.
Okay.
And then Josh Rosen was kind of like he was thought to be like a top 10 pick, but then he slipped a little bit. So like it's tough with quarterbacks.
And Josh Rosen, he showed the haters, didn't he?
Yeah.
Is he on a team?
Yeah, he was on the Buccaneers last year, I'm pretty sure.
All right, I want to see if he's even.
Yeah, I don't
talk about a bust, man.
I don't know about now, but he might have got a ring. Don't quote me on it, but he might have got a ring.
No, he was on the Buccaneers
practice squad
in 2020. It doesn't say he has a ring.
Dang.
He's on the Niners now.
Josh Rosen. I did see that actually, because
he's
on the team with they said something about him and Beathard or something. But yeah.
What about Nick Mullins? Is he still a thing?
I believe so. Okay. I think all 3. I think they have 4 quarterbacks right now.
Gosh.
Probably one of them will probably get cut.
And Jimmy might be gone too. So
yeah, and they're probably gonna draft one at 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, getting back to the draft.
Yeah, sorry.
Going on a tangent
about Josh Rosen. Just off. I mean, he's just a bust.
Just covering the hard hitting topics.
Yeah.
According to Ian Rappaport, the 49ers are between Mac Jones and Trey Lance. So, I mean, originally, apparently, they traded up the 3 being comfortable with Mac Jones. Like, they were comfortable with taking him. They were set on it.
Yeah.
But then they made the mistake of going and talking with Trey Lance and going to his pro day and stuff. So, apparently, he must have sold them pretty good if they're reconsidering. So, according to yesterday morning, they didn't even know who they were going to pick yet. So, it's tough. I mean, Kyle Shanahan's having these press conferences being like super like cryptic about everything. Did you see the quote? that he had about
I was that creeped me out more
guarantees?
than anything. Like I know I get what he was saying, but just like it did not come off as how he planned it in his head.
Sounded more like a mass murderer than a football coach.
Yeah, what did he say? They're like, do you think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be on the roster on Sunday? I don't know if anybody's going to be alive on Earth on Sunday. I was
he
like,
said, I can't guarantee if anyone's going to be alive.
everyone's like, okay,
all right,
buddy.
Mr. Shanahan.
Yeah, what?
Way to rally the troops. I think I personally think Trey Lance should be the pick, especially with because you were like the 49ers literally have the best situation you can have for a quarterback. They have good receivers in Ayuk and Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
They have top 2 tight end.
Mm-hmm. They have fast running backs.
Yeah, a franchise left tackle that they just locked up long term. I mean, and they have an offensive guru coach. So, and a good defense. So, what could you really ask for?
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you draft Lance, who has been, people say he has, some of the highest upside of all of the 5 quarterbacks. He's definitely has one of the lowest floors, though, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't see, if he was going to ever succeed, he would succeed in this system, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. And I feel like Mac Jones is the safer pick probably for, the first 2-3 years of the career.
Definitely.
Mac Jones is going to come out and just be a good quarterback. But if Trey Lance is properly what's the word I'm looking for?
Developed.
Yeah, if he's properly developed, I mean, his ceiling's way higher than Mac Jones is, just on a talent level.
Yeah, because he's pretty similar to Josh Allen coming out. He has spotty footwork sometimes, but at his pro day he did show some improvement. His touch down the field is a little iffy sometimes, but he's got a great arm. He's very athletic.
Mm-hmm.
He sees the field pretty well, but he played at a system in college where they didn't rely on him. He only threw the ball 25 times, more than 25 times once, I believe, if not none.
Mm-hmm.
His team, his talent level on his team was a lot better compared to the other teams they were playing. So his receivers were getting open a lot more than say Zach Wilson's receivers were getting open against their talent that they played. So it's tough, but I do like the prospect, and all the reports about his personality and his work ethic are good. So I don't see why not. But Mac Jones, I mean, the media always has they always portray where everyone always thinks they know where people are going to go, but then literally all 32 teams have their own big board, and it's completely different from what all the analysts are saying. So it's crazy. I mean, maybe Mac Jones is thought of way more highly than what the media thinks. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, because I don't know. What are the negatives that they're saying about Mac Jones?
Mac
Immobile?
Jones? But I've also heard that
he has a dad bod?
Kinda. People were making fun of his workouts, also saying that they were weak workouts, but it's all right. I mean, I think.
I mean, look at quarterbacks like Brady and Breeze,
exactly.
though. You know what I mean?
All you have to do is be able to be mobile in the pocket. You don't have to be able to. I mean, it's definitely
helpful.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful. Don't get me wrong, because if your offensive line isn't good, you can definitely get smoked.
Honestly, as a quarterback, that shouldn't be your top asset or priority. I'd say. You know.
Yeah, he reads the field very well. He has a solid arm. I wouldn't say it's above average or below average, but it's definitely solid.
And his accuracy is just insane.
Pretty good. Yeah. He has pretty good accuracy. I don't know. I think he's definitely a solid prospect. If he felt I originally I thought he would go 20 or around that range to the Bears. That was a while ago, months back before the hype started to build up on him. But I mean, someone in this quarterback class is bound to fall. I don't know who it's going to be. I mean,
we saw Chris Sims say that Justin Fields would be the last pick.
32 to Tampa Bay.
That's absurd.
Don't get me wrong. In that mock draft, we were getting Rashawn Slater, who would be a steal at 20. Yeah. But I'd still be a little hurt. I'm not going to lie.
If we take him over, come on.
It definitely hurts. I don't know. I don't know. If Justin Fields is there in 20 and Pace doesn't take him, you have to. I don't care.
If we don't, I don't know what I'd do.
I would be very mad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care. Even if Jamar Chase is there, I'd still prefer Justin Fields. It's just the positional value of a quarterback that we haven't had before. We have to. I don't know. At this point, I don't think any of them are going to fall to 20. I think it'll take a potential trade up for the Bears to even have a chance to say like Carolina at 8 or the Broncos at 9. Atlanta at 4. I mean, I don't see that being possible, but maybe. And then or maybe into the early teens, depending on how far someone falls.
Did you notice this on the it says it gives all their positions Jamar Chase, LSU.
Yeah, I did see that.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough, but I wanted to talk about maybe if the Bears just stayed put at 20 and like some of the positions that they would take instead of quarterback if no one's there. I think that our best choice probably is offensive line.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think like a guy like Christian Darrisaw would be a steal. Elijah Vera Tucker, but I don't know if they would be there or not because I could see the Vikings and Chargers potentially taking either of them.
Yeah.
But a guy that probably is the most realistic is Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State, who can start right tackle day one. I think that would be a great pick because he's a great run blocker. I think he would help out Monty a lot, and we just kind of need a guy that'll be a staple for a long time.
Yeah, because I mean, say what you want about Mitch's play or even Nick Foles, but they did not have a lot of help last year from the O-line. That's been brutal.
Yeah, another thing that could also help Andy Dalton is maybe drafting a wide receiver.
I don't like when we first started this podcast today. I honestly forgot about Andy Dalton being on the Bears. Like until you just said that, it completely slipped my mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they definitely need to do something to help him, but like maybe like an Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss, a deep threat. Rashad Bateman, who's more of a possession guy. I like him a lot. Reports say that the Packers and the Ravens are doing some research on him. I would not appreciate that at all.
No, please don't take him.
Exactly. And then also, I don't know how realistic this is, but I also do see a scenario where Devontae Smith could fall out of Alabama.
I don't, honestly. Just because of like the Heisman story and I feel like people, even because his like physical attributes aren't I guess ideal, I'd say, for a wide receiver, I'd say just because of how dominant he was that he's going to go top 10.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
I mean, if he's there, we take him, obviously, but
I don't think it's necessarily due to like a gripe on his talent or anything like that or his size. I think it's more that the teams that are picking in the teens don't seem like they need wide receivers like that much. You know, like I don't know, like teams like the Chargers have other things to worry about. The Vikings obviously don't need any receiving help.
Yeah.
Like. The Patriots, I don't know. I don't really see them picking a wide receiver just because they signed Nelson Aguilar and they seem like they signed 2 tight ends.
They usually never have like great wide receivers anyway.
Yeah, they just don't like. That just doesn't seem like a fit to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Devontae Smith definitely seems like a guy who could play for Belichick because he played for Saban, but I don't know. I just don't see it. But either way, even if we didn't get Devontae Smith, I'd be cool with like a guy like Kadarius Toney, who I've been high on for a while. Even though he's lost a little bit of hype lately, he's been projected like early second a little bit, maybe like late first. But I don't know. I'd be cool with it. Potential trade back maybe.
Yeah.
Rondale Moore was a guy who was projected highly at first, but I don't know. His size has been a concern. He's even smaller than Devontae Smith. He's like 5'7", like 160, 150.
Do you think that Devontae Smith will go before or after Jalen Waddle? Because I know you're really high on Waddle, but
I think after for sure. Yeah, I could see Waddle going the top 10 at this point.
Really?
Yeah, like to the Lions possibly. Because he's just that good. He's definitely got a way higher ceiling than Devontae Smith.
Oh yeah,
does,
no
personally. Doubt. But yeah, I don't know. There's a bunch of options at wide receiver. I wouldn't be mad if we passed until later rounds because this is one of the deeper classes. Wide receiver is just like there's just like 20 good wide receivers in every class now. It's ridiculous. But corner also wouldn't be too bad. Caleb Farley, he would be a really good pick, but the back injury is kind of scary. A lot of teams are convinced that he's going to need additional back surgery.
Yep.
He would be the best corner in this class if he was healthy. Patrick Surtain is realistically not an option at all.
No.
Greg Newsome out of Northwestern, that would be a great pick. I'd be a huge fan of that. He's a really physical corner, same as J.C. Horn. I'd be cool with both of them. They fit the system very well. But I think the Bears have more pressing needs personally.
Yeah, than cornerback right now. Yeah, for sure.
Ryan Pace has that young that he has like that trend of he wants a young corner and a veteran corner on the outside boundary, and he's kind of got that right now with Trufant and Jalen Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Another like thing that I was kind of wondering about was, could the Bears potentially either trade back for one of the and then reach in quotations for one of the quarterbacks that are projected like day 2, like Kellen Mond or Davis Mills?
I don't even know if we want to do that though. You know what I mean? It's
I don't know. It's just kind of like, if they want a quarterback that bad and they don't see him being there at their second round pick, either they trade up from their second round pick or trade back from their first round pick and take a Kellen Mond at like 28 through 30 or like a 25 or something.
I mean, I guess I'd be fine with that, because I'd rather take a shot in the dark at this point than sign a.
Yeah, I don't know. They're gonna take a quarterback eventually. Like, they just have to. And I'd rather, I don't know. Chris Sims is a guy I really trust, especially with quarterback rankings, and he's really high on Kellen Mond. So it's kind of like me just being convinced because of him. Like, I feel very strongly that Kellen Mond could be decent, but I just don't know about the system that he would be put in because of us, because of our team.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's hard to say. It's definitely hard to say.
And then some other things. Maybe the Patriots trading up. I also saw some reports of that. Mm-hmm. I mean, that would be kind of interesting because they never trade up.
Yeah,
ever.
to take a QB possibly.
Yeah, potentially that, or like a weapon maybe.
Because I mean, right now as it sits, they're gonna have Cam starting next year, right?
Yeah, and they seem content with it. I mean, I don't know. What they could really do. I don't know. I mean, how
we saw how he performed last year.
Yeah,
that was pretty horrendous.
I've been a pretty big Cam Newton hater after being a big fan of him early in his career. Yeah. I don't know. It's tough. Like,
I feel bad for the guy because his shoulders just absolutely shot. But
yeah, I feel like at this point, like, your offense has a lot of limitations if he's your quarterback.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Because you can't throw the ball a lot if he's your quarterback. It's just feasibly. It's not feasible. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know. Yeah, with Belichick, you kind of never really know what's going on. You know, there's a lot of.
Yeah, definitely. And
he might throw a curveball in there. I don't know. I feel like. I don't know. Honestly, with New England, it's just weird. Yeah, they're in a very weird spot right now.
I definitely agree. Because
they still have like some. They have Belichick, obviously, so they're gonna be decent. Like, they're not gonna be terrible. But with Cam starting at QB, and then who's their backup quarterback right now?
Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah, so it's like that wouldn't be the worst thing for them if they trade up and take a QB, definitely. But I don't know.
Say a Kyle Pitts falls into like the 7th or 8th pick, and they make a move because I don't know though, because they signed 2 tight ends in free agency. Now that I think about it, I don't know how much that makes sense. Even though he can play everywhere, like XY receiver and all that. But
exactly.
Either way, I mean. Besides that, I mean, a lot of the draft is kind of pretty polarizing. It's tough. It's tough to decide. I mean,
this will be a very interesting, entertaining first round this year. No doubt.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of guys that should go in the first round will fall to the second.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. There's no like 3 technique pass rushers or edge rushers or anything like that. Like at the top of the draft. It's actually crazy. This is one of the first years I can remember.
Yeah, it's a ton of offensive oriented.
Like
picks.
The best edge rusher is Jalen Phillips, and he's projected like in the 20s, and because he has a lot of injury concerns. But if not, he'd be like a top 10 pick. But I don't know. Like, and then Gregory Rousseau was like highly considered for a while, but he's like really raw, and I don't think he's worth like even like a late first rounder, honestly. But
no, definitely not. Christian Barmore.
He's an interior lineman. He's like a late first guy. He could honestly fall to the second. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know. There's no one like crazy like.
No, there's not.
You know,
like like in the past, like when you had your Jadeveon Clowneys or whatever.
Bradley Chubbs, Myles Garrett, those guys. I don't know. It's weird, but I don't. Do you have anything else in the draft you want to touch on?
No, I mean it's gonna be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. I just hope the Bears don't disappoint us. That's it.
Yeah. I hope they.
I just
don't know.
want to leave the first round content. That's it.
Yeah, if anything, I wouldn't be mad if they took an offensive lineman. That's
that's fine.
just how it's got to be. Yeah. All right. You want to talk some White Sox?
Yeah, we can.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't even know if I want to after last night's game.
Yeah,
but,
that was a little brutal.
Losing to a Pirates team that had 5 errors and still
Tigers,
losing
you
with-
mean?
I mean, yeah. I don't know.
Pirates.
I don't know. I said the Pirates, but
yeah,
the Tigers team.
They gave us ample opportunities yesterday. So
Yeah.
many. I watched almost the entire game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Tigers were sloppy on defense. We just couldn't capitalize with runners in scoring in position. Grandal is just he is just
He's
not
struggling.
Yeah, he's struggling hard.
Yeah, I don't know. Giolito looked like he was cruising for most of that game. He gave up the bomb to Cabrera in the first inning, but afterwards he was cruising till like the 7th inning, I believe. Yeah, and then he just kind of, I don't know, he just started to lose it a little bit. Started not getting the ball in the zone as much and leaving balls in the middle of the plate. I don't know. LaRussa and Katz probably should have taken him out earlier, but I mean, it's gonna happen. You kind of expect the offense to do more than they did, though. You know.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't know. That loss just kind of hurt a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
No doubt. And with the White Sox being on a 4-game winning streak, the Tigers just got swept by the Royals. That's a game you need to win,
Pretty
especially when
deflating.
you're up late. You know.
Yeah. It's
What
really
the final
deflating.
was
5-2, I believe.
5-2.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty annoying when stuff like that happens. And then in the last inning, or 8th or 9th inning, Billy Hamilton and Lurie coming up and none of them getting pinch hit for, or neither of them
Yeah.
getting pinch hit for. It's a little
It's very
depressing,
odd.
But I don't know. I'm not gonna blame this stuff on Tony though, because at the end of the day, the manager doesn't really win or lose that many games.
And he came on like after the game and he was saying like, oh, it's my fault that I didn't recognize Giolito kind of lost his way a little bit, and this like the 3rd time we've seen this happen. But I kind of feel like that's just him owning up to like the team.
He's
you know what I mean?
Take the blame.
So I kind of like that in a sense because he's like, yeah, I'll take the blame for this. You know?
Yeah,
He doesn't want to
definitely.
throw his guys under the bus. That's how I see it as.
Yeah, this isn't his first rodeo. He's definitely gonna always fight for the players, but it's tough. I think like I don't know. You can't lose these kind of games over the course of a year. I know it's
No.
gonna happen, but it just really hurts because especially against a division rival who's a bottom feeder and isn't very good, like just flat out, and you're facing Jose Urena and you let him just kind of cruise for like 7 innings.
I know, and he gave up. There were a ton of base runners we had, like again,
an outrageous amount. Like I don't know. He had a low pitch count. They didn't have very good at bats for a while. Like they started off pretty good, but they just kind of like from like the 3rd to like the 6th. I feel like the game just kind of cruised on. Like they were just having bad at bats. But I don't know. Either way, the before this game, the star hitters were starting to heat up pretty good.
Moncada,
Anderson, and Abreu for the most part. Grandal's been struggling a little bit, but I mean he'll pick it up eventually.
He's honestly been pretty unlucky though. Like he's had a lot of hard hit balls that have just
definitely
been caught and stuff. So
you can always rely on him to take a few walks and stuff. But I think most of our losses have been pretty close. I mean, our run differential is still one of the best in the MLB, so I'm pretty confident still. I think
our offense has been really good this year.
I think we'll be fine.
We've had some bad breaks, no doubt.
Yeah, the rotations looked pretty good. I mean, Giolito's had like one really bad start and then one like wasn't like, it wasn't awful. I mean, he gave up 4 runs in like 6 2/3 or 6 1/3, which isn't the worst. It could definitely be like a lot worse than that.
It's still early too. It's super early.
Keiko's looked better. Cease's looked okay. Rodon's looked good. Lynn is hurt, but he looked really good when he was pitching.
Kopech, I mean, his last start was...
He might be honestly, he's been the most dominant on the team.
Yeah.
Like all year, out of the bullpen.
And that's awesome to see.
Out of his start, yeah. It's definitely very promising. If he didn't have an innings limit, I'd be pushing for him to be in the rotation for sure.
No doubt.
But it's all right. I think he'll be fine with whatever he's doing. So, besides that, there's nothing really more to talk about with the White Sox.
I mean, we're 22 games in.
Yeah.
Still got a ton left.
Yeah, some like kind of like some annoying IL stints. Like Lynn with the traps. Robert got placed on there yesterday with illness, just precautionary. C said the same thing. Yeah, I mean, Ingles should be back soon. So, I mean, things will start looking better real quick.
No doubt.
And then with the Cubs, they've been, I would say, sort of heating up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I don't know. They've been better, but like they're still like in last place. But they've definitely improved a lot on like where they were before.
Right.
I think they can definitely still contend. They're only 4 games out. Like the division's pretty tight. Like the Brewers started off pretty well.
Wow,
just 'cause
yeah, they
they're
are
pitching.
10-13 in last place. That's honestly not bad.
Yeah, Pirates. I mean, eventually it'll start to fill itself out. Like the Pirates and the Reds will slip a little bit. The Cardinals and Brewers will always be around 500, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Cubs will battle back. Chris Bryant started off pretty well.
Yeah, the Cubs had a couple games there where they were putting up 13 runs, 16 runs, 15 runs. But then, ever since then, they've kind of been...
Yeah, they got shut out last night by Ian Anderson and the Braves. But
2 of the last 3 games they've been shut out.
Yeah.
So,
but
I don't know. I guess inconsistent is the right word to use here.
Definitely.
Jack Peterson got off to a horrendous start.
Still to this
and he's on the IL right now.
Yeah.
So hopefully he could find his spark because he's on my fantasy team. So
yeah. Javi started off pretty awful, but he's picked it up as of late. He has an above average OPS now, but his average and OBP are still very, very not good.
Mm-hmm.
But his slugging is pretty good. So I mean, I don't know. He's always gonna play good defense. You just kind of hope that he's gonna. I mean, he's not gonna walk, but I mean, you hope he's not gonna strike out as much as he has because he has a 35-1 strikeout to walk ratio right now. So that's not really gonna play that like over a course of 162. So, I mean, I don't know. I think
Rizzo's batting
right.
221.
Yeah,
he's been struggling a little bit.
Yeah, the rotation hasn't been as bad as you would think.
No, definitely not.
Arrieta's been pretty solid so far through 5 starts. But I mean that's pretty good. I mean you'd like to have Darvish to compete. Kyle Hendricks started off slow, but he usually starts off pretty slow because of his sinker and stuff like that. But
yeah, he's a solid pitcher for sure.
Yeah.
I could still see the Cubs winning this division. I mean, it's still super early in the year, and being in last place, only 4 games back. I mean, they're fine, you know.
Yeah, Trevor Williams looked all right, so I think they'll be fine. They definitely Craig Kimbrell's had a good resurgence, but they definitely need more some better appearances out of their other bullpen pieces, like guys like Brandon Workman struggling. Ryan Tepera hasn't been too great, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kyle Ryan. But yeah, besides that, still early. Nothing too crazy to talk about right now.
Nah, yeah, definitely. We can move on to the Blackhawks. They've been breaking my heart this last week, man. We had one really good comeback win when we were down 4-1 in the third, scored 3, then won in overtime. Nashville took 2 of 3. We got trounced by the Lightning last night. I think there's only 7 games left, and we're like 8 points out of a playoff spot.
Still even. 500.
Yeah, playoffs are not going to happen. I'm sorry to say, but they're just not going to happen. I mean, if we win out, there is still such a slim chance that we make the playoffs. And with the way we've been playing lately, our defense in the last couple of weeks has just been horrendous. Goaltending hasn't been great, but there's been no help out in front. Gave up 7 goals yesterday. Lankinen gave up 3 goals on like 7 shots. So we're like, oh yeah, that's the issue. We bring in Subban, gives up 3 goals in the second period. Offense hasn't been a problem. They've been scoring pretty decently. Kane's one of the top point scorers in the league this year. He's a top 10 goal scorer this year. Yeah, I mean, let's see. Last game, before that we had 1 goal, but like, I don't know.
Would you say they seem uninspired?
It's weird because we show spurts of greatness still, and then we just give up late period goals. We'll look mediocre. I mean, Colleton, this is only I think it's his 2nd or 3rd year as head coach, so he's still a young coach. He got thrown in. I think Bowman is just kind of confused at this point because we were going for a rebuild. So we were expected to be pretty bad this year. And then being on the edge of the playoffs, we're kind of like, do we still want to sign some free agents? Because we made like 5 or 6 moves right around the deadline. There were some lower name players being moved around. And now we got Taze coming back next year. So if we don't make the playoffs this year, I think we should go into full rebuild, kind of just keep Kane and Taze and Keith and just, I don't know, maybe scrap everybody else. But we have a lot of young talent, which is good. So looking forward to like 3, 4, 5 years from now, I feel like we're in a similar situation as the White Sox were in during the kind of the brutal rebuild days. But it's just weird that we're still kind of good, and it's very frustrating because then we won't have a great pick in the draft. And if we do sneak in the playoffs somehow, which honestly at this point I hope doesn't happen, because even if we get in, we're going to get crushed. Like, we saw what happened last year when we snuck in. We beat the Oilers in the play-in, and Vegas just beat us 4-1. And the only reason we won that one game is because Crawford had stood on his head, had 50 goals. Not 50 goals. He had 50 saves. And he's retired now. So it's like, I don't know. It's very frustrating because we had so much promise, and now we're 7 points behind the Predators for the last playoff spot with, I don't even know if there's 10 games left. It's hard to say. We have a negative 19 goal differential this year. We're 22, 22, and 5. It's just, I don't think we're going to make the playoffs. And you know what? I'm fine with that because I'm just happy we were decent this year, honestly. It's more than I could ask for.
Yeah, it's just pretty disappointing.
Yeah, it is, because we made that run, and I'm like, here we are. Early in the season, we're one of the top teams in the league. Kind of hung on for a little while, and then we just slowly started to get exposed for being a young team that hasn't built up a ton of talent yet. I mean, you still have your players like Kane and Keith, but outside of that, I mean, just having a young team, there's a lot of errors that are going to be made, and it's frustrating. We saw Crawford retire. I mean, we got rid of him before the year. Seabrook retired. Shaw just retired the other day because of concussions. He was only 29, so just, I don't know, just the last couple of years especially, we've seen a lot of different faces, so it's going to take a while for them to not only click, but for Colleton to develop them as players. So, like I said, we still exceeded expectations, but I don't know, it's frustrating, but the future's bright. Oh, and another thing I want to say is we've had 8 players on the Hawks this year make their NHL debut like during this season, which is just absolutely absurd.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's good because it shows how young of a team we have, but I don't know. Next couple years are going to be probably not great, but definitely future years, like I'd say 3 to 5 years from now, it's looking pretty good. So
that's all you can really ask for at this point.
Yep. I mean, we had our dynasty, so yeah, time to build another one, I guess. And then in a similar situation, I'd say, kind of, are the Chicago Bulls. They're on the fringe of the quote-unquote play-in, which is the teams 7 through 10.
Trophy.
Whoever wins out of that makes the playoffs and gets to get destroyed by the Nets first round. We were talking about this a little bit. The only reason I'd want to see the Bulls in the playoffs is to see what Levine can do.
Yeah.
But even if we make the play-in, that's still not technically the playoffs.
No.
And if we get beaten that, it's going to be like, well, I mean, this was all for nothing.
Yeah. We basically just, like, I don't know. We just lose our chances of getting our pick back, and then we just get bounced in the first round. Even if we win, we're going to play the Nets. Good luck.
Yeah, seriously. Nets are first in the East now. Not really surprised there. And, I mean, I think the 3 like big name players have only played 10 games together up to this point or something crazy like that. And when the playoffs roll around, they're just going to destroy everyone.
They're just going to be playing like pickup basketball, basically.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I mean, like no one in the East is defending that. Like, I don't
know.
care.
Yeah, I mean, even against the Sixers, like, it's too much for them to handle.
Yeah, I think even if they had 2 of them, they would still win the East.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, just take like Harden and Kyrie, like without even the best one, they'd still be all right.
And then the West, I feel like the Lakers are still going to be the team that make it out of there, especially if Bron and AD can stay healthy. I mean, who's going to stop that? The Jazz? Ooh, they have the best record in the West. But
yeah, they'll be just fine.
Yeah.
AD just came back like a week ago, I believe, and he's gradually upping his minutes and his production. So, I mean, I think the rest of the West is probably a little intimidated.
I would say, as far as the 4 major sports goes,
basketball's the most top-heavy.
Just seeding, I guess you could say. Definitely the most top-heavy, basketball for sure. You already know kind of who's going to be in the finals that year. But seeding I mean, the Lakers are at 5 right now. That means absolutely nothing.
No.
Like, whoever they play in the playoffs is...
Who's the 4 seed, like the Nuggets?
Yeah.
Oh, my, yeah. I mean, the Nuggets are a good team, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, they're not bad.
I guarantee they'd prefer to be in the 3 seed.
Oh, yeah.
Or fall to 6.
Who wants to play the Lakers in the first round? I mean... Doesn't matter who, like.
Yeah, because I'm sure whoever the 8th seed is would rather play the Jazz than the Lakers.
Utah and Phoenix are the top 2 seeds. Honestly, one of them could get upset first round. Like if the Trailblazers played Phoenix first round, I could honestly see them beating them.
Yeah, I think the Jazz have more of a chance to lose than Phoenix, in my opinion.
You think so?
Yeah, just because of Chris Paul's ability.
Yeah.
To like make sure that doesn't happen.
Rally the troops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think the Jazz are definitely a solid team. I don't know. I don't see either of them losing first round, but I could definitely see the Trailblazers beating the Jazz.
Also, wow, Utah's 0-3 in overtime this year, so I guess when it matters, they're not there. They're not showing up. Yeah. I mean. I hate to say it, but the NBA playoffs are kind of boring up until
the finals.
Yeah,
unless there's like 2 really good teams in like the conference finals, but usually
those first round 1 versus 8 matchups. I mean, it's not even funny most of the time.
It's usually pretty lopsided. I don't know. I think the finals are gonna be like super interesting this year though, so I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that, and I think most people have the Lakers and the Nets. I mean, it's kind of 2 super teams going at each other, so we'll see what happens.
I'd be cool with simulating to the finals.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's like 2K or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen, so.
Yeah, honestly.
We'll see.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that should do it for now this week. There's definitely more going on this week than last week, which is good. And then next week we'll definitely have a lot to talk about with the draft happening.
For sure.
NHL season's going to be wrapping up. Same with the NBA season, I guess. How many are they playing a full season this year?
Who?
The NBA. Let's see. The play-in starts May 18th. Playoffs start May 22nd. So it's coming up.
Yeah,
it's coming up. Probably won't have a ton to talk about in regards to NBA then, because we still have a couple weeks. MLB, I'm sure there's going to be more to talk about as the season keeps on progressing, and yeah, I mean, look forward to those episodes. So thank you guys for joining us this week. These episodes will be on the Library and the Glacier per usual, and we hope to see you guys again next week.
Peace.